Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 102 of the Showbound podcast. I'm your host, Michael Raskin, here alongside Ethan Cardwell and Cards and the listeners. It's been a while since we've been coming at you, but we're back. And yeah, Cards, how's it going, man? You're back home.
Yeah, no, it feels good to be home. And I mean, this episode's been a long time coming, like you just said. There's been just so many like random things that pop up. I have something, you have something, a guest has something come up. So obviously, we want to get you guys as episodes as we can out there. And this isn't our main intention at all to be lagging like this behind, but no, it feels good to be back on here. And yeah, it definitely feels nice to be at home and be able to spend a little bit of downtime with family and friends until everything kicks back into gear. And it feels like summer's already flying by.
I know it's kind of crazy. Like we're getting onto the edge of July here, and
Mm-hmm.
that's actually it's crazy how fast it's going. But and there's still hockey going on too, which is crazy. Like it feels like you've been done, I've been done forever, especially like at Brocken and U Sports when even going to nationals, we're done mid-March.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Well, for you guys, yeah, it's like night and day compared to well, because you got to match it with the school schedule and everything like that. But even like I was talking to, I played golf with a few of my buddies from Dallas yesterday, and like they've said, and obviously they've gone on runs the last couple of years, and like their summers are so short, and like their summer training and everything changes drastically when that happens, because like you can't like overdo your body all summer and then go back into camp in September and kill it again. Like you just burn out. So it's crazy though, like how long the season actually goes. But I mean, it's all well worth it when you can hoist the cup, or hopefully one day, you know.
Yeah, man, can only imagine that. But were you out with like Delhi?
Yeah, I played with Delhi, Mason Marchman, and Wyatt Johnson.
Oh, nice. Marchman, we gotta get him on here. That's the only one of the three.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Get him on later in the summer for sure.
let's talk a little golf. We were just kind of talking about it quickly, but we'll share with our listeners. So you're at tell us about where you're at now, golfing.
Yeah, no, I'm playing at Coppenwood Golf Club. It's up in like the Goodwood Uxbridge area for people who know that area, but sickest course, man. Like I absolutely love it. Like it's just top notch. They take such good care of us and stuff like that. And the course is always in great condition. So there's a good group of us guys up there to play with, and pretty much playing every day, which is actually insane. So the game's getting to a good spot. But speaking of the game being in a good spot, I just asked Ras that question off the air, and he said he wanted to take it on the air. I said, I don't know if you want to do that, but he said it's the worst it's ever been. So let's hear about it.
Well, it's just man, it's like a roller coaster for me up and down. Well, I just have no confidence with my driver. Like I don't know, I can't hit it. I don't know what's going on, but so I'm struggling off the tees, really even with my irons too for the most part. Um, but then the rest of my game's pretty good. Like I've kind of gotten down to not three putting. Um, I'm pretty dialed in within like 150 yards. Like I'm okay, and I'm shooting rounds under 100 somewhat consistently with a couple. Like I shot a 101 most recently, but like I'm hovering around there, and I'm dead honest with these scores right now, which is like before I was at like 100 not dead honest. Now I'm at 100 dead honest. So it is an improvement.
You know, yeah, but that's the biggest thing. I think when people are getting into golf, it's like, okay, just hit another one here, hit another one there, and then it's like, okay, so it's like the longest time you stay at that number until you start playing it honest, and then from now you'll start to see the real results, and it's a way better feeling shooting an honest round rather than knowing in the back of your head you're like, oh yeah, I was 95 today, but I had four mulligans that I didn't count, you
Yeah.
know.
And at the end of the day, it's like, who am I doing it for? Like, I'm trying to get better for myself. Like, it's not like my scores getting posted anywhere. Um,
No,
so
it's yeah.
I need to know. And then at the end of the day, if I'm lying about my scores and then I'm going to like I'll be golfing with you next week and I'm sitting there like at least heading in where I'm at, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the truth
No,
comes out
so
eventually. So
we'll
might
we'll
as
have a
well
good
take it
we'll have a
on.
good match next week. Obviously we're getting out you and I, and either probably Fetz or JT, and then Justin Noble. And I know we wanted to touch on the big news. Obviously you're working
Oh
with
yeah.
Justin and Stu Gavin over at, what do you guys call it now?
Now Cardinal Point Athlete Advisors, but the podcast listeners, the OGs might know it as Gavin Hockey Well Specialist. So we can touch on that because I haven't shared with the listeners yet, but I mean it's been like 10 or 11 months or 10 months maybe I started working at Gavin Hockey Well Specialist at the time, and we've recently gone through a merger and now renamed Cardinal Point Athlete Advisors. But um, yeah, so like basically Cardinal Point Athlete Advisors, we work with guys, NHL players, and it's all about financial management, really. So I've kind of taken on that role. I don't know how deep I want to dive into exactly what I do on the day to day, but it's been pretty interesting, like getting to know a lot of cool people, and like you said, Justin Noble, who has been on our podcast, actually, he kind of did it all, got me in there really. So I got to shout out Justin, and we'll get out for a round of golf with him. And you obviously have a good relationship with Justin too. So it's been pretty sick, honestly, the last 10 months of my life, like working in downtown Toronto, in the world of finance and in the world of hockey. It's kind of right up my alley. So that's been the big news with what's up with me.
Yeah, kind of the best of both worlds for you to hop into a situation like that. I know we talked about it a lot, like what you go into, like you wanted to maybe be like a GM or something down the road, like up higher in the ranks and keep moving yourself up in that category. And luckily, thanks to me, you kind of just found this other job. So I mean,
It
no, but
is. It's
we were
thanks to
laughing.
you and the listeners, man.
Yeah, no, like especially the listeners. With no listeners, no job for Raskin. So everyone who's listening and has been since day one can give yourself a pat on the back. And next time you see Rask, make sure he buys you a beer or lunch or something like that. But I was just about to like actually give you props because you're a machine when you're in the office and when you're getting stuff done. It's
So
pretty
we
weird.
can drop to, like, I've been working with Cardsy, um,
A lot,
and
yeah. And
yeah, we work
JT and like
together a lot.
yeah, so like me and JT, it'll be like we'll be driving to the course, and it like one of us it'll be like a notification on our phone that shows on CarPlay Raskin, and we're just like, oh shit, Rask is getting shit done again. Just never stops. This guy always works like a dog, and obviously it comes top down. Stu and Justin take great care of us as clients, and no, they've done a great job. So for any players looking for money advisors, those are your guys. Cardinal Point Wealth Management.
Cardinal Point Athlete Advisors,
Athlete
the new
advisors. I got
name.
head around that one.
But even just on the golf topic quickly, we don't need to talk about it too much, but how about this US Open collapse by Rory McIlroy?
I'm not a huge Rory fan. I think I've been on it. I've probably said that on here before. I really respect the way he plays golf. Like he's a sick player and stuff. But man, was that a choke show or what?
The stat was like that in the year he'd made 496 of 496 putts within 3 feet, and then he missed two in a row on the 16th and 18th hole at the US Open on Sunday. Like, it's actually hard to believe. I probably would have made those putts, man. Now, before I
No
say
way.
that,
Under
that's,
the
yeah, I
circumstance,
was gonna
no.
say on an
But
empty course maybe, but
yeah, if
yeah, on a
I bet you if we give you those on an empty course, you knock one in.
yeah, no, I'm knocking both on an empty course from 3 feet.
Yeah, I mean the one on 18 was a big breaker, so you got to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But when you're the number two player in the world or whatever he is, number three, you just can't miss those, especially under that pressure. And I don't know if you watched the replay, but he almost topped the putt. Like the putter face came and threw the ball and literally hit the top edge of it. It was like just such a bad contact on that putt. So I was
Yeah.
gutted for him, but I'm pumped for Bryson. I actually like the way he's like he's changing the game and like he's doing a good job of it because I think like if you asked a lot of people 2 3 years ago, they would have said they hated him, and now kind of everybody's flipped and kind of likes him now.
Yeah, well, I like Bryson. I watch his TikToks and stuff all the time. He's super entertaining on there. And I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw, and there's actually rumors he's coming out with his own line of clubs because he obviously used his own clubs that he designed. But have you seen the design of his clubs, like the club face?
yeah, it's bizarre. So I mean, it'll be interesting. Like obviously, he swings it fastest probably of any golfer who's doing regular golf on the planet. So yeah, I don't know how it would work for like a 10 to 20 handicapper, but it'd be interesting to see, that's for sure, and see how like the product does.
Yeah. So anyway, we can talk a little bit of hockey. First, I'll drop our guest. We got Memorial Cup champ and Memorial Cup MVP Owen Beck, who's also an OHL champion last year with the Peterborough Petes, this year Mem Cup with the Saginaw Spirit, World Junior gold medalist for Canada, two-time World Junior player, and has already played an NHL game with the Montreal Canadiens, and he's a Montreal Canadiens top prospect. So we're excited to get that one out. We'll get to him in a little bit. There's a couple things too on the hockey side. I think maybe we'll do it after the interview. We're gonna react to some of Cardsy's goals. Um, we can kind of recap. Yeah, let's do after the interview. We'll talk. We'll do Cardsy talk after. So it gives you a reason to stick around. We'll recap Cardsy's season a little bit, react to his goals. Couple, I guess, while we're talking before we get into Becker, a couple things with my season with Brock. We went to nationals, for
Yeah,
those who don't know, and we lost to that wagon UNB team who won the national championship, who everyone was
crazy.
talking about. Um, it was a sick experience going to nationals, and a big reason we went was because of our goalie Connor Unger, who signed an NHL contract with the Edmonton Oilers. Who, he's a beauty and a total stud, like nastiest U Sports goalie I've ever seen. Obviously, because he signed a contract right out of there.
Yeah, that's
Um, so it was a very successful year at Brock, lots of fun.
but
Yeah.
but
I'm breaking news. Uh,
breaking news: Raskin goes to arch rival. No, you guys are pretty good rivals. No,
yeah, we built a rivalry with a lot of playing against them in the playoffs a couple years in a row, 3 or 4 years in a row now. But I've now joined the Laurier Golden Hawks, the purple and gold. So, in the same role really, but after 7 seasons with Brock,
so
I've
now like, you're like when you go back for the Brock game, like people are gonna want to get you.
no, you know
You
what? So
you're a hated man on campus. Like they got pictures of your face with like the X through it. Like get this guy out of here. We want nothing to do with him.
it would be
Yeah,
hilarious if that was the case. Thankfully for me, the relationship with Brock, we moved on. Mostly it was my choice with work, not being able to do it, but we ended as like on the best possible terms. They kind of gave me like alumni slash friend of the program status. So I get to stay, stay on the alumni emails and stay involved, and all the relationships there are great. And I'll always love Brock. It wasn't a move. It really, I guess I can explain it. Yeah, it was basically, so I got the full-time job as we were talking about, and
yeah.
had to move to Toronto. And that obviously affected kind of my level of commitment that I could give Brock. And so, uh, I started to reach out to teams for basically a team that can give me what I want, which is what I was doing, but at the commitment level that I can give, which is really only showing up for the games on the weekends. Like I can't really be there at practices. So it
Sounds
worked
like
out
you
with
outlaw
Laurier.
all over again.
What?
Sounds like you in the outlaw league all over again. No practice.
Yeah, well, I always find ways to do it on my terms, eh?
You're only a weekend type guy. I can only be there. But if a sick party or a concert comes up, can't make it either. Like
But
go
yeah,
go with the wind, eh?
yeah, well, I mean, I got a good deal there with Laurier and a great relationship with the coach and their staff there, and they're very understanding of and supportive of my full-time job, obviously, and don't want that to get in the way, and just, will respect that I'm giving my time kind of on the side. So, but I'm really excited to get going with Laurier. Um, it was super sad and emotional leaving Brock, but yeah, when I do go back there, we'll see if they get the posters of me with the X through my
Dude,
face.
I hope people are throwing shit at you and stuff. That would be awesome. Like traitor, get out of here. Rask is a joke. Signs. No,
It'll be
no, dude. You did so much for that program. They'll obviously always like respect and appreciate everything you did there. Like it was a good run.
yeah, it was nice, and the message they kind of gave me when I was leaving was just I left the program better than how I found it, and that's always appreciated. And it was actually
Yeah,
really nice to think about, and
for
that's
sure.
all you can really ask. But I'm remaining with some St. Catharines ties as I'm staying with the St. Catharines Falcons on the side as the assistant GM. Basically, like I won't be there too often, but I'm gonna continue to construct the roster and help make trades and do some behind the scenes staff and admin stuff. But I'll be there for the Falcons
So
when Laurier's not playing.
So when a kid gets put on the fourth line or scratched, you're the guy that they can come and behind the scenes, they're like, they ask coach is like, yeah, man, like, I don't know, like, just wasn't up to me. Nobody knows who it's up to. A big shout out now to St. Catharines Falcons. If you're wondering why you're scratched or on the fourth line, call Raskin directly and start bitching at or complaining at him. Cut that.
Man, well, you know what? I could be easy to blame if I'm not there, but the Falcons are an unreal organization and we're loading up this year for a run.
When
So
when aren't you guys loaded up?
I know
Always, I
it's
at it every year.
always a good team, man. That's why it's so fun to be a part of. Like even going to Laurier, I was like, I can't leave the Falcons because we have a chance to win every year, and I love these guys. So
Yeah, no, it's exciting,
I
but
was
you
like,
got to
I'll just
trade in
keep it
that
going.
red and blue of Brock and get yourself some purple and gold. Nobody will miss you swearing that around. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, anyway, lots of news there, but so we'll get into the big cards discussion after we send it over to Owen Beck now. So we got a good interview. I hope you enjoy it, and here he is.
All right, we're pleased to be joined by I don't know. There's a laundry list of things that you've done and won and stuff like that. So I'm not going to say it. Rask said it earlier, but we're joined by Becker here, Owen Beck, most recently MVP of the Memorial Cup. So Becker, what's going on, dude?
Oh, not too much. How are you boys?
We're hanging in there. Good to be back for the summer, as I'm sure you know. It's been two long seasons for you, kind of back to back. So how's it feel to be back home and where you stand right now?
Yeah, it's good. I'm just back home in Port Hope. Back at the um back into the usual schedule up in Belleville, working out and skating and whatnot. And yeah, it's good to be home. I mean, love being in Sag and Peterborough for 2 long seasons the past 2 years. But yeah, it's always nice to come home and just get back into the regular routine of things.
Yeah. So where are you training in Belleville, actually? How far is that from you? It's got to be a bit of a hike, no?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's like 45 minutes.
That's not too
But
bad.
I've been with Jeremy Benoit and Tom Crowhurst, who own like Momentous Athletics.
Okay.
So it's a good spot out there. I've been with them for like 5 years. I've never had any issues with them, and yeah, they've done me well so far.
Obviously, it's working. And as I just mentioned, MVP of the Memorial Cup. And I got to see you play live there. Obviously, looking real good out there. And real nice to win it, and then a nice icing on the cake. So what was it like? Obviously, like let's get into it a little bit here with the member winning it.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I mean, you kind of mentioned all the stuff that I've done and won, I guess, over my career. And yeah, that last thing going into that Memorial Cup was to win it. And yeah, being able to do that was crazy. I mean, on home ice with our crowd who were going bananas, and you in the stands, I could hear you all the way from the boxes up there. um yeah, no, it was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, winning that is a dream come true. It's not something that I ever really thought I would have won coming into junior.
Yeah.
And then yeah, just winning that MVP was just kind of the icing on the cake. I mean, that was n never something I would have thought I'd hear my name in contention for. So to win it on that stage was pretty sick.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal, and obviously Saginaw has come a long way as a team and as a town and a fan base over the last couple of years, and just to see the arena now with all the like how they've upscaled it and everything, it's amazing there. And you go from the Paramount Fine Food Center with 45 people there to a sold out barn in Saginaw winning the member, so that's pretty cool. Come a long way during your career, but I wanted to ask you actually. So I'm watching the finals at home, and you go bunk and you're stare. Did you stare at their bench?
No, I think that's a little misunderstood. I was kind of just like putting my hand to my ear, just saying, like, just hyping up the crowd or whatever, just that
Yeah,
typical silly. But I think a lot of people took it that I was like waving goodbye to their bench, but I mean that was like the first period, so it's a little early
yeah,
on to do that. But yeah, I mean, it did feel kind of good to kind of get a little stare down on their bench, right? To be able to sally right by there, but
yeah.
yeah.
No, it would have been ugly if the comeback had gone the other way. I mean, I was nervous for you guys when the game kind of went from obviously 3-0 full control. They hadn't even got a shot on goal. It seemed like maybe two at the intermission, second intermission, and you guys are chugging along, and then all of a sudden the wave comes as everybody expected, and just what was going through your head when Bloomer potted that one?
Yeah, man, that was crazy. Like if you watch the clip back, I wasn't even celebrating yet. He was halfway down the ice. I was still skating towards the net because I couldn't see the puck. And obviously he had a better view of it and he just started selling. And I saw the referee pointing down at the net saying it was a goal, and I just like lost my mind, started chasing him down the ice, and um, but then at the same time, I was like, man, there's 21 seconds still left on the clock. They could still come
Yeah.
back and get a quick one based on what they did earlier in the game. So like we were just, yeah, we were so excited, and yeah, it started to become real there that we were going to do it. But again, there was just that 21 seconds. So I was telling all the guys that were coming on the ice, man, like just dial in for like 21 seconds of your life. And then we can have like, the biggest party and biggest celebration, you've ever seen. So
Yeah, we're gonna go mental for 6 days after this. So just bear down for 21. I'm looking at this script that Rask made, and I just completely stole his part. So I sorry about that, Rask, but I'll flip it over to you and we can catch up on the playoff run a little bit.
Yeah, well, even while we're on the topic of it, and it doesn't matter, it's just whatever, just notes, you can really read them wherever you want. But while we're on the finals, like going into that game, you're playing London, obviously, who beat you guys in the playoffs and in the first Mem Cup game. So I want to know, like, how do you guys prepare for that game? You had like 2 days to prepare for it. Like, what adjustments are you making? Like, how much video is there going into that? Like, what was those 2 days like for you?
yeah, I mean, believe it or not, we actually didn't make it. We made less adjustments than we would ever make. We didn't look at any of their video. We didn't do anything. We just really tried to focus on us. I think a big mistake or a big trap that we fell into was focusing too much on what our opponents were going to do, as opposed to just kind of just, playing our game and worrying about what we're doing. I think it took away from, a lot of the stuff we try to do, in the offensive zone. We get all worked up about, who's on the other side of things, that we don't make plays like we normally do. And I think that kind of hindered us a little bit. So yeah, we actually, after playing them so much in the playoffs and after, losing in the first game, we're like, okay, well, we know what to expect. Like all we just want to do is go play our game and beat these guys. So yeah, that's all we were really worried about going into that game. And I mean, it seemed to work for us. We just stuck to our system, and like Cardsy said there, we held them to, I think, like 5 or 6 shots by the end of the second period or something.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we were feeling pretty good about ourselves, and then, obviously things kind of went downhill, but worked out the right way.
You mentioned the goal, like the Bloomer scored, and I watched the video of it before this, and I saw, like, I could tell you didn't think it counted, um, or at least you didn't know. Like you're looking like everyone's celebrating but you, and
Yeah.
it was yeah, it was pretty crazy, man. I don't know.
I was watching it at Fet's house, and it's 3-0 with like 10 minutes left or something. I'm like, hey, like they got it. I'm gonna drive home quickly so I can see them throw their mitts in the air and go nuts. Like, want to see the presentation, watch the boys get all fired up, and then I'm just driving home, whatever. Get a text, bang, here it comes from Caddick, and then it goes, oh, another one. And then when the third one happened, I literally almost shit my pants. I was so scared for you guys, and then literally had goosebumps standing here watching, especially because it was at the Dow. Obviously, I got to play at the Dow for a little bit, and just to see everything and how far it's come, and then you guys be able to hoist the memory there, and then hear Hasher tell everybody that he's never leaving.
Yeah, that
Did
was a
you
pretty
boys
crazy
give him
game,
shit
dude.
about that?
I saw he got chirped a little bit online, but no, that was like he didn't care. Obviously, we just won,
Yeah.
right? But I heard people saying like, "Oh, Saginaw just got a new public works, employee or something like that." So he was, he just had a laugh about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, and then obviously signed his A contract a couple days later. So
Well,
um,
that was the thing. Like his A deal was like already a done deal. Like I think he was told me at B's house that day, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm staying in SAG forever. I'm like, oh, should I call the Cuda and say he can't make it next year? Like he's stuck in SAG for
he's
good at
gonna be
this
a
point.
double OA.
Yeah, double OA and do a coaching role early.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot of like Barracuda and Sharks fans that listen to this podcast because of Cardsy, and we asked for fan questions from you today, and one of them was asking about Hache, like what San Jose can expect out of him and what kind of person he is and player he is, and you both played with him, but I guess Becker first, like if you want to answer that, what's he like as a captain, as a teammate?
Yeah, as a captain, he's unbelievable. He really brought, a team and SAG together. I've never felt as close, with with a group that I did in SAG. So just in that aspect, he's an incredible leader. Really motivates the boys, really, puts things into perspective. When it came to it being his last year and wanting to win so bad, he really preached that to the guys that are a little bit younger and might not know what it means as much to win yet. So yeah, such an incredible leader. And in terms of, style of play, he's just a big physical defenseman that isn't going to give much up. And he contributed the odd time on the offensive end too, which is awesome to see. And so yeah, he's just a great spirit, a great guy. Really, really big and physical presence that'll be able to play a lot of roles for him.
Even just while we're on the playoffs before we move on to the rest of your already super successful career, but um, another curious one heading into the Mem Cup when you guys got eliminated by London in the third round. How much time off did you have? And then what was like the next 2, 3 weeks like, and how did you guys kind of prepare for that with so much time without games?
Yeah, well, I mean, with all three series, all three finals being sweeps throughout, like across the CHL, we didn't have as much time as we were expecting. But we were able to all go home, take a week, just kind of get away from it and just process what had gone on, what happened in the Western Conference Finals and, come back refreshed and, with a clear mind and ready to go and a little bit more motivation. So, yeah, I think we spent about 9 or 10 days maybe practicing after that, just going as hard as we could, challenging each other, working our tails off and making sure that we're ready to come into this thing against, three really good teams that all, swept their final series. So yeah, some people might have, counted us out just because, we lost to London in the Western Conference Finals, and then all these other teams are like all three teams swept their finals. So they're like, oh, Saginaw doesn't stand a chance against these, titans of a team. But we were just so excited to get going and we knew what kind of team we had. So yeah, we were just so amped up for those 10 days. And we really put ourselves in a good position to to come into that tournament.
Having the rest is nice too. Like obviously it's a fine line between rest and rust, but obviously it worked out for you guys. And well, I know we want to touch quickly. We can get into this before we start talking about more of your career, but just like the whole Mem Cup as a whole, because obviously you guys come out guns blazing first game. Were you up 5-1 or something against
Uh,
Moose Jaw?
4-4 nothing, I think, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, something crazy. But then they came back.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you guys,
They
yeah,
scored
you
three
guys,
goals in like a minute 30 or something like that. Something
yeah, you
crazy.
guys love blowing leads in this tournament, and then you obviously move on 4-3 against Drummondville. So, like, what was that game like? No
Yeah,
problem.
that was another tough team. They had lost to London, I think, pretty handily in their opening game, like 4-0 or something like that. So, yeah, they were coming out with a lot more intensity. We all watched that first game, obviously, when they played London, and we felt they came out, even harder against us. And yeah, it was a super tight game all the way through. And yeah, like you said, whether we like blowing leads or keeping it close, that's kind of just our brand of hockey, it seems. So, it was like that all the way through the playoffs and everything as well. So, but yeah, no, again, it was just all four teams are obviously great. So, we were, yeah, it was a tight game. We were maybe a little bit nervous at times, but yeah, pulled through with that win.
Yeah, no, that was nice. And then the next game, that was the game I got to go to. Rask was the round robin Seg versus Lundo, and so we get there and we're all fired up and like super excited to be there and stuff. But like we're sitting there and then we're talking in the back of the van on the way to the game and we're like, do they really want to win tonight? Like, because like obviously you can't beat everyone knows you can't beat the same team in a tournament twice. We're like, honestly, we'd love to win, and like it'd be a huge celebration. Go down to the room, boys would be going mental because it's for the bye to the finals. And obviously you guys did come out on the wrong end of it that night, which I think was the right call. So what was the mindset like after losing that one? I know I got to talk to you guys, and the next day we were hanging out and stuff like that, but like going you guys had no worries about the semis, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, I don't want to say we didn't overlook the semis by any means.
No,
It
no.
was just that we were so focused on getting back to London that, we were just ready to kind of obliterate any team that stood in our way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, again, Moose Jaw it was a close game, and if Oki didn't make that one toe save, like I think it could like when it was 1-1, I think it could have gone completely different. Yeah, and then the floodgates opened, but yeah, we just really wanted to get back to London. And we kind of took that mentality, like what you said, it's so hard to beat a team twice, and they're going to be sitting off for 4 days or something like that. So when you're in the thick of a tournament like that, you almost don't want that kind of rest. So we were just looking at the positives and just saying like, this actually could be in our favor. Obviously, you don't have home ice advantage or last change, I should say. We kind of did, I guess, have home ice with our crowd, but um, yeah, we were just looking at the positives and we were just so amped up to get back there when we finally did. We came in on such a high after beating Moose Jaw 7-1 that, we kind of felt unstoppable and we just kept that train rolling.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, that's a better way to put it. I wouldn't say you guys look past it, but when we were sitting there talking about the game, like you guys you would do anything to get another run at London, and obviously it paid off and pretty sick moment. So from there, I think we can kind of put the Mem Cup to the side for a minute. Rask, maybe move on to some more topics here.
Yeah, but one more while we're on it. Andrew Oki, you mentioned him. You got to get Cardsy a ring
Yeah.
because
I didn't even know this, man.
I texted this to Cardsy. So
I
when
don't even
Cardsy
think I
got
know
traded
this.
from Saginaw to Barrie, the fifth round pick that came back for 2020 when Cardsy got traded at the deadline in 2020 turned out to be Andrew Oak, who then obviously panned out to be your guy that backstopped you to a Mem Cup championship. So Cardsy
Wow.
was the piece that made it all happen.
I
Hey,
didn't know that. Wow.
without me, they don't have a ring. So cheers, boys.
But
But
that's pretty nasty. But I mean, yeah, let's take it into the Peterborough stuff. Cardsy, why don't you talk quickly about Peterborough? We don't want to brush past an OHL championship, so let's hear about that, Cards.
yeah, but if it's with Peterborough, we might want to. Like, come on. That's my most hated team in the league. I think while I played in there, I hated Peterborough.
That's got
But
to be because of the square corners, though. That's not actually
it's,
'cause of the team, is
it,
it?
yeah, no, it's just like you guys had the square corners. Like, I didn't love the maroon tarps. Like, I didn't like it all in all. But obviously, you did. You went on to win an OHL championship back to back, or not back to back years. OHL, then a member, but playing with Peterborough, you guys were a wagon. You guys were a real good team. Obviously, we would have loved to get a stab at you guys. You got through North Bay and then you took down London. So obviously, you know what it takes to take down London. But do you want to talk about just the experience of being able to go through the whole playoffs and so many battles like you did, and then obviously be able to take a team like London down?
Yeah, no, it was so cool. I mean, it was just another one of those things where, after the trade deadline, we didn't do as well as we were expecting to. I think we were a couple games over 500 in the second half of the year and ended up as the 4 seed. And a lot of people had Sudbury beating us in the first round. And it was just another one of those things where in the room we knew that just wasn't true. And we came in and we weren't necessarily expecting to sweep them, but I guess, that's what happened. And, then we were kind of like, okay, well, we kind of figured out how to play hockey now, so we can maybe keep this train rolling a little bit. And so, yeah, after that, why can't I remember who we played?
In the final?
Second
Second
round,
round.
second round. 'Cause North Bay
Oh,
was the third. Ottawa, who was
the 1 seed.
the 1 seed. Yeah. So we played them. We went in there game one. I think we lost, and then our mentality just became, grab one there. We can take it back home, and we won 3 and 4 in our own barn, lost 5 back in theirs, closed it out in 6. So just as the lower seed from then on, we were just looking to split. When we started off the series in their barn, and we were able to do that for every series going through. And yeah, coming into London, I mean, I didn't play a ton that series because I just kept getting tossed from games. So
I remember that.
yeah, I couldn't figure out how to stay on the ice. So yeah, it was unfortunate for just me personally. Obviously, it was amazing to watch the boys come through in game 6 there with that championship, but I think I sweat a hole through my suit. Just trying to watch that, just having no control. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously it was, tough not being on the ice with the guys for the celebration and whatnot, but um yeah, or sorry, not being dressed for the celebration, should say, and being able to help the guys in that game. So yeah, I mean, but that's what it takes is a deep team that can get it done without whoever's out of the lineup. So that's what we had in Peterborough. Again, another incredible experience. And then shipping off to a Mem Cup out in Kamloops gave me a little bit more experience coming into this year as well in Saginaw.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you mentioned deep team in Peterborough, but you guys were like, I feel like there was so many high end guys on that team that I think that's why, and I might be wrong, you were there, but is that why you think maybe there wasn't success right off the bat because there was too much figuring out going on and guys didn't know where they needed to fit in and what role they were going to play and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. Because based on how our roster lineup kind of was constructed, we ended up with either a first round NHL draft pick or a guy that went undrafted but signed in his first NHL camp at 18 on our third line. Um, and that's, obviously it's tough to ask guys like that to play that kind of role. So I think there were a lot of, big dogs who might have butted heads on that team when things, got rolling. And yeah, so it didn't work out, but at least in the regular season. But as soon as we got to the playoffs, that's what I meant when I said, we kind of learned how to figure out how to
Yeah,
play hockey. So we started playing together, started playing our systems, and that's when our talent really all shone through, or yeah, shone through together. So
yeah,
that was an interesting dynamic, and we weren't sure how it was going to work out, to be honest with you. But we had complete belief in ourselves, and we just really, had a players only meeting, just sat down, just said, all right, well, it's time to put everything that's happened in this regular season aside and just kind of come together and win this thing. Because again, it was just one of those things where we knew we were kind of destined for it if we just, kind of buckled down and got the job done.
yeah. It's pretty cool because obviously we're watching, like, you see the standings here in the league. So we're seeing you guys lose to like brutal teams night in and night out at the start there. And we're like, oh my God, what's going on? But it was only a matter of time. I feel like everybody in the league kind of knew you guys were the team um, that year. And yeah, obviously, who cares about the regular season if you're going to do that in the playoffs, right? So you guys got
Yeah.
through it and OHL championship. Yeah, hang it up. That's yours forever. So that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
put it down in the history
nasty.
books and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's cool kind of the way you guys came together when it mattered, really. Like, that's all that matters in the end, like Cardzi said there. But moving on, I want to talk about your first NHL game, and it was a unique story, I guess, and no better person to tell it than you. So can you kind of tell us what happened, how you found out, and really like the whole 24 hours leading up to the game?
Yeah, I mean, not only was just the situation in itself strange, on the Montreal side of things with, so many injuries that they have to call up a junior guy, which I believe hadn't happened in like 21 years, for Montreal. So that was weird in itself. But the other aspect, or the aspect that I was living at the time, was, I had just gotten to Peterborough, and as we were just talking about, we weren't off to that hot of a start. And I wasn't personally either at the time. So when that was going on, I was, going through, a low point in the year. I was just trying to grind my way out of it. And I get called into my head coach and GM's office. And I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm gonna get, reamed for them spending all these picks and players on getting me, and then I'm just not, doing anything for the team. But yeah, they come in, or they brought me in and just asking me how, things were going, how I was liking the transition to Peterborough and whatnot, and if I was settling in with my billets and everything like that. And yeah, so I told him, yeah, everything's great, it's going well, and just want to kind of get this ship turned around. And so they kind of just said like, yeah, we want that too, but first you're gonna have to go up to Ottawa to play your first NHL game with Montreal. So I was completely shocked. I, was not expecting it. So obviously the first thing I do was um, go call my parents, and I had dinner plans with my dad, and just said like, hey, I got to cancel on dinner. I got to go play my first NHL game up in Ottawa. So, that's kind of a memory that he and I will have forever because that was such a cool way to tell him I thought, and his reaction was priceless. So, obviously from there, I just went on, told all my other family members, and I was able to get like 25 people up to Ottawa to um, go play my first or to watch me play my first NHL game, I should say. So, yeah, that experience in itself was really cool. And, the other aspect of it was getting to kind of live the life of an NHL player. Nick Suzuki, who's obviously the captain there, invited me out to dinner with a couple of guys and went and had a nice dinner the night before, went back to the hotel, slept, woke up, did morning skate, went back to the hotel and had the pregame nap and everything, pregame meal, and yeah, just woke up and went about business as usual, or as usual as it could be for not being in the OHL all of a sudden, and trying to dial in and play your first NHL game. So yeah, just so many experiences within that was so cool. So that's just something I'll never forget. And there's just, yeah, like I said, so many little details in that'll stick with me.
Your body was probably in shock. You go from staying at the Holiday Inn Express and garbage pregame meals in the OHL, and all of a sudden you're staying 5-star hotels, probably getting beautiful steak, whatever you want, right? So that
Yeah,
must have been
it was weird. And then the crazier thing was that I played on a Saturday night and we had a 2 o'clock game back in the PMC on the Sunday. And I ended up having to dress for it. I drove home from Ottawa after the game with GM and from Peterborough. And yeah, got there probably 2 or 3 in the morning and woke up, went straight to the rink. I don't think I ate anything and just tried to play a game. I was
oh,
like, it's the worst game I've ever played in my career, but it
yeah,
was
they give you a hall pass for that game. Who cares?
yeah.
Say yeah, sorry fellas, just in the national for a day, so don't mind me. I'll just be flying tonight.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, I got excused, I think, but
Yeah, exactly.
What about like I don't know how to phrase this question. Like being around the guys on the Habs there, like that night you go for dinner with them and then morning skate in the room, leading up to the game. Like what are the guys saying to you? Are you even saying anything? Like how is all those interactions?
yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make myself feel at home as I can, but I mean, realistically, inside I'm shitting bricks. So, it's kind of tough. I mean, it was awesome that Suzuki and all those guys were nice enough to bring me out to dinner, and it was really cool to kind of see what they do the night before a game and how they live their lives, what they talk about and all this, and they were asking me questions about what's going on in Peterborough and whatnot, and then like I said, um you move on to morning skate the next day and I'm just trying to fit in as best as possible. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm pretending like I do and
Yeah.
you know um just going with the flow. So yeah, guys are trying to make me feel as comfortable as possible and everything, and kind of hyping me up and getting me excited for what's about to come. And then um everybody was super pumped to send me out for my rookie lap and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. And then after that, it's just, you kind of just blank out and just play hockey at the end of the day. So yeah, it was yeah, just a wild experience, really.
Most nervous part? Were you scared? You go no bucket warm up, yeah?
Yeah, no, I stood up after I got my like jersey on and everything, and I turned around and I'm like, where the hell is my helmet?
Oh, they
So
hit it.
I think the equipment staff actually took my helmet from me. I had no idea, and I was like, oh wait, I gotta go do a rookie lap, don't I? And so I just went out there and tried to make sure the hair looked good, and fanned on a couple shots and went along with my game.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a rookie lap. Hey, bucket off. Were you shitting your pants or what? Like, were you scared to fall or like
I was
that probably is
100%,
your most
yeah.
nervous part?
Yeah, I totally blanked out. And when I looked back on the video, like I was flying in my rookie lap. Like I'm surprised I didn't fall going into some of those corners. And I don't know what I was doing. I was just, I blacked out and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do a couple laps, shoot a couple pucks, try to be cool. But uh, at the end of it all, I actually did whiff on one of my shots, and that'll, kind of live with me forever because it's on video and everything. So
You
yeah,
didn't wait. You're just working on your 5 hole. It's all
yeah,
good.
No, I completely forgot to shoot the puck. I just left it behind me.
Oh, okay, yeah. Not even so that one's inexcusable. You can't even say you were
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, I can't even say I was looking five cheese. It was just
That's
uh,
awesome. But I know we wanted to touch on another one of your milestones, and that one would be the World Juniors. So winning the World Junior Gold in 2023 with Canada, like I know we've talked about so much winning, and it's obviously pretty incredible that you've done all this so early in your career. But to touch on that, winning World Juniors is no small feat. So what was that like? I know it was a bit of a whirlwind for you there too, and like how did it all go down?
yeah, that was another crazy one. Obviously I was like it was New Year's Eve, so I was hanging out with some of the boys in Mississauga and watching the game a little bit, mostly just talking and having fun otherwise. But yeah, I ended up getting a call right as everybody was leaving. Got a call from James Boyd, who was the GM at the time. He was just saying, hey, Docker went down tonight and, we need you to come fill in. So I was like, yeah, obviously I'm gonna do that. He's like, you got a flight at 8 a.m. So thank God I was in Mississauga and I was right next to the airport. So
Yeah,
I scrambled home, tried to throw together a bag and left for Halifax the next morning. So yeah, that was just pretty crazy travel schedule in itself and showed up
yeah,
in the middle of a meeting. The boys were doing some film and I walked in and I'm like, hey boys, how's it going? And um, so yeah, that was insane. And I was jumping right into the medal rounds. That because obviously they had just, finished the um round robin by New Year's, so I was jumping right into the quarters, and it was a nail biter game. Obviously, that one that Bedsy scored that nasty goal against Slovakia, in overtime to send them packing, and then uh, yeah, and then we get to the U.S. who won 6-2 against them in the semis and came up against Czechia in the finals, which is another nail biter OT game, and um, yeah, just I hadn't even processed the fact that I was at the World Juniors yet by the time we won. So it was just a like flood of emotions when that
yeah,
puck went in the net and we threw off our gloves and we're celebrating in front of a crazy sellout crowd in Halifax, 10,000 plus and just all rooting for Canada. So yeah, that was wild. Just really was just trying to go in there and kind of fill a role and do whatever I was asked to do. And yeah, it was just crazy how that all went down.
I
yeah. That
also forgot how crazy that was with the media attention on Bedard that tournament. That was the peak of all of it, I feel like. What was it like for you guys on the team with him constantly getting bombarded and this everything online and stuff? Like, how was that?
Yeah, I didn't get a great sense of it, to be honest. Obviously, he was like requested for a lot of interviews, and I think the craziest part were the fans waiting outside for him when we, went to the bus or whatever. They had to get like full security, like police details to hold everyone back so they could just walk to the bus. And
Yeah.
it was crazy. The thing, like I've been around him a little bit for other events, like the NHL Rookie Showcase that Upper Deck puts on, and some of the things people do just to try and get an interview or not an interview, sorry, um, like an autograph from him is crazy. So, that kind of attention is nuts to think about. Obviously he deals with it really well, and he's earned that attention. But it's wild to see, what lengths people will go to just to, kind of get face to face with them.
Rask, my favorite part of the whole story is Becker says, yeah, New Year's Eve, we're watching the game, obviously cheering Canada on. This guy's like sitting at home, F these guys, last cut, like no way, like, and then sure enough on the team celebrating gold. But no, I'm just kidding. But I can't like when I was like when that whole thing went down and you actually like went from there, it was unbelievable. That was super cool for you, obviously, and to be able to hop in and you're probably the difference maker. If they don't call you up, no gold, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? No, but it was bittersweet, sitting at home because every hockey player is gonna watch the World Juniors. That's just, fact of life. And it was definitely bittersweet sitting at home watching. And it's kind of awkward with all your family around for Christmas. You're getting together to exchange gifts, have dinner, whatever. And I'm just sitting there, arms crossed, kind of just watching the World Juniors with a straight face. Obviously, in my mind, I'm cheering on Canada, but I'm like, I was so close to, being there. And it was hard to, to express any excitement for, out loud, at least when they scored. But obviously, was rooting for them. And then when I get that call, everything just, changes in an instant. And I'm just like, holy shit, I'm a part of, the World Junior team. And was just overjoyed and just, completely flipped my mood right around. So
I just put it together when you said you were in Mississauga. You played with Baz, Roman Bazrin in my
yeah,
forward.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, he was what's up, Baz?
Oh, bro.
How are
Long time
things
no
good?
talk.
Yeah, for real.
Oh man, that's too funny. I'm literally at the gym right now.
You're always at the gym. Okay, we'll talk later because I'm in the middle of a podcast. But okay, all right, see you, bro. That was so random. Anyway, um, yeah, Baz is a beauty. I forgot you would have played with him there in Mississauga, man. He's such a good
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, no, we were gonna upset Hamilton that one year until he blew his knee out in warm-ups. That year they were
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We weren't, but
Yeah, that was
too
that
good.
was gonna happen. Literally, that's that series that we played that year. It was like, okay, let's see who can win to go get swept by
People get
Ham.
swept, yeah.
It's like
Yeah, didn't you play them, Cardsy?
no, they yeah, we played Missy in the first round, and
Oh yeah.
they end up popping an empty netter in game 6. Like we had a good comeback, and then our like Hardy scored or something, and I know Hardy pretty well, and he goes, "Yeah, have a good off season." I'm like, dude, I'm just like I'm getting one more week of golf than you. Like, stop. You guys, you're getting swept. Everybody knows it. Like, just give it up. Who cares? It's fine. All right. So go have fun with that. And
Man,
then, but yeah, sure enough, yeah, that team was a wagon. But
oh, that was
besides,
utter domination when we played them. It was
yeah,
brutal.
yeah, no, they were a wagon that year. Nobody could even come close. But this podcast isn't about them. It's about Becker. So what do we got here? NHL signing.
Yeah, like we'll kind of move it along quick because we've been going long and your time's obviously valuable, but just on your NHL contract, like when you found out you're signing, we kind of always ask this question. What did you like? Did you buy yourself anything? Like how did you react? What did you do? Yeah, like how was that for you?
Yeah, it was totally unexpected. I mean, I wasn't I was being told by my agent at the time that, you're most likely to sign at Christmas and if not March. And then, I just went in with, no real expectations for that camp and ended up staying longer than I would have thought and ended up, signing. So that was pretty crazy to me. Obviously I was super excited. I was kind of um, when I guess hockey kind of becomes a real job, right? Then you start, making a bit of money and you gotta really, really dial in because you want the next one even more after that. So yeah, anyways, when I got that contract, I was in desperate need of a car. So even I signed and then I think within the week I was probably headed back to junior. Um, but before I even left Montreal, I had purchased a car from a dealership there. So
I
I was in such desperate need to get a car, and it had been one that I'd been looking at for a while, and just kind of fit my needs for the time being. I've moved on from it now, but um, yeah, that was pretty crazy to me, and
well,
kinda solved a big problem for me.
what car was it?
Do you know what an Elantra N is? Like the sport version of just like a regular Elantra?
Okay, yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
those.
so I got one of those in a manual. Because
Nice.
my car at the time that wasn't great was a manual. That was the only thing I liked about it. But so I carried that over into a bit of a nicer car for for like an entry car, I guess. So
Nice. And now what have you moved on to?
I just recently got a Tesla, so
Oh,
trying to save on gas.
couple games in the or game in the show, couple days in the show, Tesla
Uh,
automatic. I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, no, it just made sense like with the way gas prices are going. But anyways, not not really here to talk about that, right? So
Before we wrap things up, we like to talk about a couple teammate questions. So we'll rip through these and then pop into. I think we only got like one or two fan questions left, and then then you're all set. But first to start, who's the best and worst style on the Spirit this year?
Like suit style?
Sure.
All right. Well, or were you talking like gear?
It doesn't matter, either or. Because
Okay.
I'm
Overall,
sure if the guy has
or let's
brutal
do,
suit style, he probably looks dust on the ice too.
yeah, but let's put, I guess, both. Yeah.
Suit style was definitely Jorian Donovan.
Worst?
The worst, yeah. Worst suit style because he wore the same suit every single game for about 3 months.
That's sick.
Um, the reason being was like I think he had it all like he went well, he was a late call up this year to World Juniors, so he had all of his stuff back at home in Ottawa and then got traded to SAG right away and didn't have time to get
Yeah.
it. Regardless, he wore the same suit for 3 months. Best suit style. That's I don't know if I don't know who that would be. Bloomer had some pretty good suits. Hash had some pretty good suits.
Well,
Um,
Aussie boy's pretty lax with your guys' dress code too, so you can pretty much wear whatever you want in there.
yeah, actually, that might, Roddy might have been the worst. Like Dionisio for suit style. Half the time he wasn't even wearing a suit. So there's a couple of guys that could go into that category, but
And then
uh
what about on ice?
best on ice style. I don't know. I want to say Z just because it's like his tape job kind of screams like, I'm the man.
Yeah, he's so cocky the way he just kind of struts around the ice. It's absurd.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he backs it up like he's a player, but
Yeah, of course.
yeah. So I'd probably gotta say him.
Worst style. I'm trying to think of worst style right now.
Yeah, I don't even know who, like, I'm probably like PJ Forgione, but I mean, I just hate the white sticks personally. That's
Yeah, no, if you have a white
I go
stick, you
against
better be getting 50, I think. So moving on from that one, who's the best chirper?
Bloomer had some good ones. Bloomer had some really good ones.
Don't give him that. That guy never stops running his mouth. That's the problem. And then I already know that isn't he the locker room DJ as well?
Part-time. It kind of switched around between him, Hash, and I think Meese took the reins if one of them didn't want to.
Okay, yeah. Who's the clown in the locker room?
Jorian Donovan for sure. That's
Okay.
like the most random human being you'll ever meet.
Yeah, he's kind of random actually. Who talks too much?
I don't know, but probably Bloomer and Hash. Like
Yeah, I was
half the
gonna
half
say,
the season, half the season when we were down a goal after the first period, lots of time left, they'd just come in and lose their minds on us. It's like
it's like boys, we're a wagon. It
yeah,
shouldn't
it's
be a
like
problem.
just
We're
settle
down
down a little bit, we'll be good
nothing.
here. But
Yeah,
it just shows how much they wanted to win. But yeah, sometimes it just was like, okay, let's
should have said, hey, Bloomer Hash, cut it. Not today.
let's just
But
dial in for the second and third here.
hey, if we lose the game, come rip us. But till then, stay out of our ear. Like,
Yeah.
and then who's most likely to be a coach one day?
Ooh. I want to say Joey Willis.
Yeah,
Guy just plays such a pro style that like I feel like he could, kind of translate that into a coaching role.
and nasty talk too in the final by him.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that
you
was
were
a
the star of the
sick
show,
goal.
but what a little flip backhander. But that's all I got for SAG questions. Rask, I'll flip it to you for fan questions.
Yeah, we got a couple of fan questions to wrap it up here. So a good one that I was also thinking as well. So your NHL draft, you went 33rd overall, missing the first round by one pick. So how was that experience for you on both days? Like, can you tell us about the first round and then follow up? Like, did Montreal tell you like, hey, we're taking you with this next pick on the first minute of the next day?
I really had no idea. So obviously the first round was really long. Like I think it's three some odd hours to finish those 32 picks, and thinking your name's going to be called and then it not being just makes it even longer. So yeah, that was tough, and then obviously a long night with not a lot of sleep heading into the second day, and after the first day, you don't really know what's going to happen, because you kind of have an idea of who likes you at what pick, like what teams like you at what pick. And then when I got into the second day, I kind of just really had no idea because the teams that had explicitly told me that I was, that I was on the radar, were kind of nowhere to be seen in those first couple picks. And then, yeah, Montreal came out of nowhere and, swept me up and, ended up the second day being a really short one. At least waiting for my name to be called. And then after that, just got to celebrate with family and everything. And yeah, really cool experience being in Montreal there.
Oh
That's
yeah, I forgot it was there too. And how about communication wise now? Like how often do you communicate with Montreal, like their player development guys, or like how often are you talking and what kinds of things are they telling you?
Yeah, I mean they're always checking in. I had a call today with a player development guy and he was just checking in to make sure, my body was feeling good after, a long season and asking how getting back into training is and all that. So they're always checking in little bits here and there, just seeing how things are going. If they ever feel the need to correct, like they see something that they want changed in my game, they don't hesitate to reach out and they'll set up a meeting to talk that through. And I actually worked a lot with Paul Byron this year. He was doing a lot of video on my games and obviously he was fresh out of the league, so yeah, when he kind of tapped in to my video and started sending me suggestions and stuff like that, I felt like my game really took a step. So it was awesome to work with him, and a guy who, grinded out every minute of his career and, had such a successful career. So to be able to learn from him was awesome. So they do talk to me a fair bit.
Yeah, nice. Um, and then I guess you played with Macklin Celebrini at this most recent World Juniors, and people want to know what is he like, and a guy who might be playing with
might,
Cardsy pretty soon.
might be. I think Greer already
Yeah, he
announced.
slipped his
I don't
name
know.
there. It's obviously he's going first
Everybody
overall.
knows he's going to San Jose. I was texting him not too long ago. I was just saying, oh, how are things, getting ready for the combine and everything. And I wanted to say, getting ready for San Jose, but I didn't want to, say too much there. So, but I think he knew. So,
Yeah,
yeah, he's a great guy. He just loves being a part of the team and just being a part of the boys and fooling around when it's time to fool around. But when it gets down to business, obviously he goes to work, and he was incredible at the World Juniors. He was a treat to watch from ice level, and you just kind of wonder, like he gets himself into some situations and comes out of them just fine. Like he'll skate into three guys and still come out with the puck on his stick, and you just wonder how did he make that happen. And he's got a sneaky good shot. Like it doesn't look deadly, but like he can rip a puck. And obviously I talked about his hands coming through the middle of the ice and whatnot, but one-on-one with the goalie or whatever, it's pretty impressive to see. So I really think he's the total package. He's got skating in there as well. So yeah, I think he'll be a pretty exciting player to watch in San Jose.
Well, I mean, we've kept you long and we appreciate your time. I think it's been an awesome interview, by the way. Like, I think everyone's going to really enjoy hearing all the things you had to say and the stories. But for me, I'll let Cards kind of wrap it up for me. I just want to thank you for giving us the time and being such a good guest. So yeah, thanks, Becker.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
yeah, buddy. Kind of the same thing, but yeah, thanks for taking the time. I know we all got a game to go watch now. But yeah, so just we'll keep in touch, and we'll have to get together for golf or something like that this summer. But don't hesitate to reach out, and it's great to hear from you, buddy. And glad you're doing well, and glad you guys had a hell of a time after you win in the Memmer. So wishing you all the best, and we'll be in touch.
Well, appreciate it. You guys take care.
All right, I want to thank Becker for that. It was a really good interview. I think I texted him it was going to be like 30 minutes or something, and we went like 50 probably. But
Yeah, 50, and then had him on the line after.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
we were chatting after, but it was a great interview, man, and obviously like super nice guy and such a successful career at such a young age. So it was really cool having him on, and I hope everybody enjoyed that one. And even for me, I guess I mean it's been a long time since we've interviewed someone. There's no like rust or whatever because it's not like an interview, it's more conversational, I would think,
yeah,
but been a while, but I guess we can rip into your season a little bit here, and I know this episode's probably starting to get a little longer, but we're gonna be coming out with some more too. But let's talk about kind of how the second half of your season went, and then we'll react to some of your goals. I got them on video here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll go in more depth, and I'm sure stories will pop up here and there about my season as we start firing pods out. But no, the second half was better. Like, I mean, we started playing some decent hockey down the stretch. Obviously, everybody knows it wasn't the season we wanted from the top down in the organization, and we expect a lot more from ourselves next year. And obviously, myself looking to go in and make the Sharks is my main goal at camp. And if not, and if I am with the CUDA, then obviously want to make that team better. And just as a whole organization, we need to be better. Um, but from a standpoint of personal play, I thought I started to play some real good hockey as I got more comfortable throughout the season and just kind of really sunk into my role and kind of established myself. And and from there, it's about learning how to play pro. It's about learning how to know how to travel, how to handle your body, know what your body needs, what it doesn't need, how much sleep you need, how much hydration. Just kind of finding all these different balances because you can get away with it in junior because you're older and maybe you're bigger and stronger than some guys. But obviously now when you're a rookie in the AHL, especially, like people are coming for you every night. Like you got to be on top of your game, and it's a dog eat dog world, and it's like I'm fighting for the same spot as everybody else on my team. So obviously we're teammates and stuff, but at the end of the day, we're both trying to earn the same job, and we're putting everything on the line every night to try to prove why we should be the candidate for that, the best candidate for that job type thing. So it was kind of learning that adjustment, that it's real work now. It's not just playtime and fun and go hang out at your billet's basement and they make you all your meals and stuff like that. But the pro hockey lifestyle is the best. You know, it's unbelievable, and wouldn't trade it in for anything in the world. And I love being in San Jose. And then obviously when JT got traded there too, that was pretty cool. That kind of gave me a little boost. I think it was in the dog days of the season, and JT kind of got traded over there. Obviously my best friend, for those who don't know, Jack Thompson. And yeah, just being able to room with him on the road. We had a bunch of road trips down the stretch, kind of the team who was starting to get real close, and we were playing better hockey, and the results might not have shown it all the time, but I think we ended the season on a high note, and we felt good about them, good about ourselves, headed into the off season. And obviously, as I mentioned before, we know we need better, and we kind of know what we have to do to excel to a different level. But as a young organization, it's going to take time, and players have to develop. And me being myself, I definitely feel like I developed a ton this year, so I could walk away happy saying that.
Yeah, that's well said. And I'll just say it for everyone. Cardsy led the team in goals with 23. So that's pretty sick. 23 goals, 43 points as a rookie, a great season. And yeah, keep putting in the work you're putting in. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion. But let's take a look at some of those goals. So our last podcast, we reacted to the ones from the first half of the season. So now we'll react to the ones from the second half. There's, I think, 14 goals we'll kind of react to. We'll just kind of run through it pretty quick, and you can kind of give us your live thoughts, or if you want to pause, let me know, but I'll just kind of let them play. And it's going in the reverse order of when you scored them. Sorry, so like the most recent goal to the furthest in the past. So if that makes sense. So now is a good time to check out the YouTube, by the way, if you want to watch these. We can try to be descriptive, but yeah, we're also trying to encourage YouTube viewers. So check out the YouTube for the last couple minutes of this and look at Cardsy's goals. But here we are.
Yeah, I remember this one pretty good. Obviously, I got the puck up here, and Gooch laid out a nice area pass, and I was laughing on the bench after the goal because I'd mentioned to some of the boys, next time I get a shot, I'm definitely trying to go 5-hole with it. And sure enough, I was lucky to squeeze one by.
And you drew a penalty on that play too, but you still buried it. Here we go.
Yeah. And then this one on the PK, just trying to look to get a shot on net, and juicy rebound came right back out to me, and obviously real fired up with the Selly, as you can see there.
Sally.
But yeah, no, that was a fun goal. Nice to get the game winner in that one, and just yeah, obviously real nice to get one on the PK. This one here, I think I saw an opening, and I said I'm putting my head down and going to the cage. Sure enough, I was lucky enough to tip it under the bar.
Great pass too.
And tackle the goalie too in the meantime. Yeah, no, this one was on Easter, in Calgary. Just kind of came down, and like I used the goalie or the defenseman as a screen. I wasn't too sure if it would just be a shot on net or what it would be. I don't think I had scored in a few games, and no, I just figured get pucks on net, and goalie didn't see it. It was fortunate enough to go top shelf there, so that one felt good for sure.
Yeah, that was a rip.
Yeah, this one's just a beautiful pass from Robbins on the power play. He threaded
Oh,
the needle
knee
across the.
drop.
Yeah, I just sat there. I did nothing. I just got to sit in there on my spot, and sure enough, it was right on my tape, and I was able to put it in the back of the net there. And this one looks very similar to the goal against San Diego last time. Kind of put my head down and let Shakir do the work. A beautiful pass there by him, and they don't ask how, I guess, right? So you just get to the net and take them how you can get them. It's another one, head down right to the net, and Jack Studs and I kind of set this one up on the bench. We said we noticed a little bit of hole, and with Studs being one of the fastest guys in the league, we said, all right, let him wind it up. He'll fly down the ice on the power play, and Cards, you just go find a soft area. So I said, all right, you do the work. I'll go find the soft area, and don't worry, if you give it to me there, I'll put it in the back of the net. So fortunate enough to be the beneficiary of that pass there, because he just excelled. It just flew by everyone, and I guess the defenseman didn't notice me sneaking
Yeah,
in
I'm
there.
like looking at this guy here, like oh the turn too. The coverage was pretty not great here. I don't know who this is, but I don't know. Like there's two guys, like this guy's kind of taking the pass, but 59 here, like did not have you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but I'll take it.
His coach threw him under the bus there in video for sure, though.
And yeah, this one, I mean, my dad played in Rockford. I lived in Rockford when I was growing up
Oh,
for a year.
clapper.
That's kind of where I first learned how to play hockey. And this was my first game ever in Rockford. And yeah, first period, I was real excited. And I think I remember telling you about this one. Luke Phillip, who we had on the podcast, he took a slap shot early in the game, coming down the off wing, kind of the same as me there. So it was kind of just in my head when I picked up that puck. I just remembered seeing him doing it, and I'm like, all right, I can fire one on net here. And yeah, it went in. You don't see too many slap shot goals off the rush anymore, but two in the first period is pretty funny to see.
Yeah. No, that was a ripper too, man. You might need to pull that one out of the toolbox a little more.
Yeah, maybe bring the slap shot out. And yeah, this one I was more worried about just trying to get on side, and another power play goal, and Peterson just kind of laid a beautiful
Oh
sauce, and
yeah.
I was able to slip away from the D. Um, and yeah, I mean, that one I was kind of just honestly, like it was such a bang bang play. I just ended up just flipping it up high shelf, kind of going in there, and figured that would be the best option for me, and went in. So yeah, this is probably the ugliest of all ugly. I think it was sitting on top of the goalie's pads, and I took a little bit of a cross check, but I made sure the puck went in when I got pushed through, and the play kept going, and I'm like, no, end the play here. I know that's in. Oh yeah, this one here. This is kind of like a fadeaway tip. I'm getting pushed away by my good buddy Cheech, and just lucky enough to stick out my backhand and barely tip it. But no, those ones feel good when you're not necessarily thinking you're gonna get a goal off a tip, and it ends up trickling in. So that was a good tip though. No, it doesn't get any easier than this one. Obviously, a little mishap here by the goalie to give Totter the puck, and he throws it out in front to me. And there's no better thing than starting your first shift with a goal, and it doesn't get much easier than that one. So I just kind of cruised in, goalie's well out of the net, and I had a big cage to put it in. So if I had missed that one, I would have been kicking myself for sure.
You know what, though? Lesson here for the people watching. You made an underrated good move here. Like you're kind of in a 50-50 battle for positioning. Maybe you're on the inside of him, but you get the stick lift right here. And then
Yeah,
he has one hand on his stick recovering from that stick lift right as you get the pass. And he doesn't have the strength with one hand to get that puck off you.
I guess I did that subconsciously because I haven't even noticed that. So a good hockey mind like you recognizes those
It's a
things.
great play, man. Great play. Here we go.
Oh, this one set play. So down to the guy here, and I'm able to pop into the slot for a
Oh
quick shot.
yeah.
I got a lot on it. 5 hole. People were chirping me saying I fanned on it, but no, I got everything on that one. Kind of just a beautiful
Yeah,
little
it's
quick
already in the back of the
bang,
net. That was a rocket.
yeah, quick bang bang play, and yeah, again, so that was a nice shot. I was happy about that one.
Yeah.
This one is after I hadn't scored in like forever, and Rousey makes a nice play to the slot for me, and I was just kind of barreling down to the net, no aim, just kind of let me get this off my stick as quick as I can, and let's try to find the back of the net if we can. And yeah, I mean those jerseys were huge too, so I was always like freaking out when we'd wear them because the crest was like getting in my way. So like I was like in my own head, I'm like, is this a curse? Like, can I not score with these jerseys on? So that one felt nice to finally get one in the purple.
Yeah, and that Selly was like an angry, like, hey, come on, like let's go. Like you
Yeah, no, because it had been a while. So
Yeah.
I was a little bit pissed off with myself because I obviously wasn't contributing to the team's success. Um, so it felt nice to finally get back in the mix on that front.
Yeah. Well, that's all in from the second half. So, I mean, it's good to be back. It's fun to do this, and I guess we'll kind of wrap it up. Do you want to take it away, Cards?
Yeah, I mean, uh, I guess I better touch on the weather because we got record highs this week, and we're into a heat warning. So for everybody in Southern Ontario, stay safe, drink a lot of waters because I know I was sweating like an absolute pig on the golf course today. Bad decision to walk, by the way, but anyway, that's beside the point. Moving on, looking forward to being back, giving you guys some episodes here, enjoying the content that we can provide. Hopefully, week in, week out, depending on our guests, and even if not, we'll hop on and shoot the shit. But I know there's a lot of guys we got lined up and a lot of good stories and a lot of good things coming for this summer. So stay tuned for a ton more. And we're just happy to be back and be producing these for you guys every week. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time.